The gift of God for the people of God. You heard a question that was asked last week during this section. It was asked of the children. When you think of Christmas, this question, what do you think about? Now, the children in this congregation are relatively sophisticated. They know what is expected of them. They know when certain things are expected. And so, Pastor Mike had an answer like, being with the family is something that I enjoy, and I think about for Christmas. Another child said, playing a game. I guess that was a video game. That's what I like about Christmas. Another one said, just being at home with the family. Now, these kids knew what was expected, and they delivered. But let's think about this a little deeper. A video game. Well, the children were not employed, so someone gave them a video game, a gift. They talked about being with the family and sitting around the table, or they mentioned that. Well, the children were of such age, they probably didn't prepare the meal themselves, nor did they purchase the food for it. So that was also a gift to them. Being home with the family. Again, they didn't own the house. They weren't working. So this was given too. But one child said, gifts. Gifts are what I think about for Christmas. And that resonates probably, to be completely honest, with what all of us think about for Christmas. But do we think, I see the head shaking, do we think about the ultimate gift? Giving gifts is customary, but we don't think about the ultimate giver of gifts. And that is God giving the gift of Jesus to his people. We recall John 3:16, but God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So this gift giving is deep. It's serious. And it is what most of us, if we're completely honest, it is what most of us will associate with Christmas. Gifts do not imply greed, but gifts purchased still not imply greed. Gifts given, gifts received, gifts anticipated, even gifts returned. Gift is what Christmas is about at one level. It is what Christmas is all about, even at all levels. Because God gives to his people a gift. Let's see if we can compare this to a gift like the Statue of Liberty. Many of you have visited New York City and you've seen that statue. But did you know that that statue was a gift to the American people from the French people? So one nation gives to another nation, consisting of millions of people, a gift. God presents to his people here on earth a gift. A gift like no other gift. A gift like no other experience that has been had. So, again, we're thinking about the practice and the thoughts of the majority of people when it comes to gifts and when it comes to Christmas. Let me tell you a story. This is a story about an independent woman. She lived in New York City some years ago. She was joyfully employed. She had the ideal job. But she was assistant to a buyer in a major department store. She was an assistant to a buyer at Saks Fifth Avenue. She got to see the fashions before they became fashionable, if you will. And she enjoyed that. She enjoyed the newness of everything that was involved. And she didn't have to take the risk. The buyer had to take the risk, not her. She only follows a certain direction. But she would visit us on occasion. Even though she was strict and set in her ways, she was still a generous person. And she bought gifts for the kids, gifts galore, gifts for us. And on one particular Christmas weekend, she came and she spent the weekend with us. And when we exchanged gifts after breakfast, we noticed that the gift we had for her, neatly and appropriately wrapped, she took it and she held it and then she set it aside. And she said she would open it later. About 10 years later, when she was retiring, we visited her and we saw this same gift that we had given, and the movers were packing it into a larger container. We didn't say anything, we were just curious. We asked another family member about her, and they said, she never accepts gifts. You were lucky she accepted that gift from you. She generally does not accept gifts. And so, on this Christmas Eve, in view of the fact that we're celebrating the gift of Jesus Christ, a gift from God for God's people, I wonder if we are prepared to accept that gift. Are we open to the gift, to receiving a gift from God? Are we open to receiving a gift when we cannot give something in return? We hear all the time that music, that scripture, and even congregations are all gifts from God. And we try, by what we do with these gifts, to give something back to God. But I wonder again, over and over again, are we prepared to accept a gift of the baby Jesus, Jesus Christ, to accept this gift from God when we have nothing in return, and nothing equivalent to return to Him? Again, this lady, as accomplished as she was able to give gifts, and she did, but she was quite unable to accept gifts from others. Is there a need in us, as humankind, to give and receive? Now you know that I'm going to refer you to one of my science friends, a psychologist, and she said, yes, all human beings, or practically all human beings, have the need to give, the need to receive. This is a basic need that's ingrained in us. Giving apparently affects some parts of the brain, and it affects our well-being, and it increases our well-being. Well, this is what the social workers or the psychologists would tell us. Both giving and receiving are, in fact, rewarded. So often, the giving itself will give us a greater feeling of altruism and of connection than simply receiving. But in this regard, it doesn't matter what we think about it. Giving a gift and receiving a gift is important to us, and it represents a way of expressing our feelings and our thoughts about certain relationships. Have you noticed who you give gifts to? Generally, gifts are given from us to another person. That person is generally a person we care a lot about, a person we love, a person we think is special. It is a way of saying, I care about you, you are important to me, I am devoted to you, and I want you to know it. Is this what God had in mind when He gave us His Son, and He sent the baby Jesus to live among us? Was God telling us, or is God telling us that we are important to Him? Is God telling us that He loves us? So why did God give that gift? And why do we give gifts? Why are we buying things, gifts for our friends? and gifts for the family. What are we telling? Am I getting a gift or giving a gift just because it is what we think we should do? Are we trying to get them to do something? Are we trying to give them or supply them with a need? Are we trying to bring them a measure of joy? The reason for giving at Christmas is important not only for adults, but it's important for the children as well. And there are, as I said, many reasons why we give gifts. We have this custom of giving and receiving to remind us that the presents given to Jesus, for example, by the wise men, that frankincense, the gold, the myrrh, was important. And it was a way of saying, you are important to us. Congratulations on coming. But we often forget, again, the original gift giver. And that is God, who gave the world Jesus. Other people who love and follow Jesus give gifts to remember the true gift, to remember Jesus. And we are reminded by the Scriptures that every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of heavenly life, who does not charge or change things, who does not shift in his thinking about us. Gifts are not like the lights that decorate the towns and the trees where we live. Gifts from God are the lights that we have certainly experienced, and the enlightenment that we have. Gifts are not like those candles that we place in our windows. The story that I told you about the lady in New York City was about being unable to accept the gift. And we find even in our world today, even on this Christmas Eve, that people are unable to open themselves to accept God or to accept Jesus Christ. The world of first century Palestine was a world of injustice. It was a world of violence. It was a world of greed. A world where people were searching and reaching for power. They were searching and reaching for self-righteousness. It was a world of racism. It was a world of thievery, of oppression, and a host of other evils. It was a world, that first century Palestine, that was desperate. A world where everyone was a part of the problem and everyone suffered from the problem. But then when we start to think about 21st century Palestine, the Middle East, we find that it's not that much different from first century Palestine. The tools and the symbols are different, but the issues are the same. So what does God do? God sends the one who is to be the light that will bring light to the world, that will bring God's grace to the world. But Jesus came into darkness so that we could know the light and we would know life forever. The Christmas story reminds us that only light can defeat the darkness, and tonight we celebrate the fact that that light has come. This light is a gift from God, as we said, a true gift from God. Even in our times, as we look at our lives, as we look back into the faces of people we encounter every day, we see over and over again the need for God's gift to us. The gift of God, the gift of Christ in the real world. We see that need because of the broken homes, broken dreams, a world of aging, a world of dying, and we start to appreciate the gift of God for the people of God. Like the time of Jesus' birth, our world is still a needful world. One that is, for some, a bitter world. A world where babies are born with inherited diseases, whereas there is little hope. A world where children are likely to be shot in schools, where the cause of death among children now is gun. A world where people suffer because they cannot afford the food that they need to survive. We can easily believe some things. We find it easier to believe lies than we do the real truth. But God cared enough to send the very best to us. And it takes courage. It takes joy. It takes all the courage that we can muster to accept what God has sent to us. To accept what Christmas has to offer. As you come to the rail this evening, remember that it takes courage to be a generous receiver of a generous gift. That, dear friends, is what Christmas is all about. The gift of God for the people of God. Merry Christmas, dear friends. Merry Christmas.